Let's start with a quick clip showing Richard Gadd discuss how proud he is about what happened after Baby Reindeer aired.
But I think at the end of the day, you can't deny just how popular this show is and how much it's touching people around the globe, and the incredible sort of charity response that it's had. I mean, stalking referral rates in the UK are up 47%, abuse referral rates are up 53%. Wow. You know, the show is having a phenomenal impact and doing a hell of a lot of good in the world. And
I'm grateful that he's been brave enough to bring this issue to light. It's been brought to my attention that there hasn't been enough focus on Donny's issues in Baby Reindeer. So here we are, all things Donny done. And this is my 7th video on Baby Reindeer, and this time I'm focusing on Donny's sexual confusion and his internalized homophobia. Today I'm going to be answering the question, did Darian turn Donny gay or bisexual? Is that even possible? We're going to take a look at what research shows us about this. And then in the next video, I'm going to take a look at traits of egoism versus covert narcissism and do a little analysis. My name is Katherine Sloan. I'm a licensed therapist in North Carolina. I'm back from a wonderful vacation with my oldest son. We went to Acadia National Park, which I highly recommend. Please subscribe to my channel and leave a comment. I try to read all of your comments and reply to them. First, let's talk about Donny's sexual confusion. Donny's journey with his sexuality is portrayed with raw honesty in Baby Reindeer.
Like, did it all happen because I was giving off some vibe I wasn't aware of? Or did what happened make me this way? I would go down.
And throughout the series, we see him grappling with his identity, especially after his traumatic experiences with Darian. Donny's sexual confusion is rooted in his SA by Darian, an older male figure who took advantage of him, to say the least. And it's this traumatic experience which leaves Donny questioning his sexual orientation. Now, according to research published by the Association for Psychological Science, while sexual abuse can have significant psychological effects, it does not determine one's sexual orientation. This is a highly debated topic in more conservative crowds because many people want to believe that if we could treat someone's sexual trauma, then their sexual orientation could change back to strictly heterosexual. However, there is no scientific evidence so far that this is possible. It's clear that Donny's trauma has left him deeply confused about his desires and his identity.
It is so devastating to think of yourself as a progressive person, only to realize you're a coward underneath it all.
Following the SA, Donny's perception of his sexuality seemed to shift. Initially, he identified as heterosexual, but the trauma led him to question if he might be bisexual, culminating in a romantic involvement with Terri, a trans woman. Now, it's not uncommon for sexual abuse survivors, particularly those who don't identify strictly as heterosexual, to question whether the abuse altered their sexual orientation. Now, our erotic template is inherently broad and evolves over time. Certain aspects may remain latent until triggered by possibly pornography or a sexual experience that we have. Now, ideally, individuals get to explore these facets through consensual and safe experiences. However, sexual abuse can prematurely and traumatically reveal these parts of our sexual orientation. Now, while the abuse itself does not change one's sexuality, it can uncover pre-existing aspects of one's sexual template. And this journey of self-discovery can be incredibly complex. Sexual orientation is influenced by a complex interplay of genetic, hormonal, and environmental factors. The show depicts Donny engaging in various sexual behaviors that seem out of control.
That my body is part of me somehow. Like, who cares if it happened before? It's happened a ton of times now, so what does it matter?
This is a common reaction among trauma survivors. Survivors may engage in risky behaviors as a way to regain control or make sense of their trauma. Donny's behavior reflects this complexity as he navigates relationships with both men and women, trying to understand his true self. Donny comes out as bisexual in Baby Reindeer and in real life, and I want to show you a clip of him discussing his sexual orientation.
I never had any homosexual feelings before the incident. I could never tell whether those feelings were in me, and I'd never acknowledged them before, never even thought about them, whether the incident had created them in me, made me pathologize the event to such a degree that I started to question everything about myself. Either way, they're there now, and that's fine. I used to hate that side of myself.
One of the pivotal relationships in the series is between Donny and Terri, a trans woman he meets on a dating site. Now, this relationship highlights Donny's internal struggle and his attempt to connect authentically with others despite his confusion. His interactions with Terri show his deep admiration for her courage to live authentically, which contrasts sharply with his own insecurities and fears. Now, keep in mind that these situations were occurring in Richard Gadd's real life about 10 years ago, when there was even less acceptance of the LGBTQ community than today. In Baby Reindeer, Donny's internalized homophobia manifests through various behaviors and emotional struggles. We see him experience deep shame and secrecy. So Donny feels deep shame about his sexual orientation and his relationship with Terri, a trans woman. He hides their relationship and avoids acknowledging it openly, which is a clear indicator of his internalized homophobia.
But with every handhold or lingering stare came a crushing sense of anger and shame, that I was falling in love with her, that I couldn't hide in anonymity anymore.
This shame is compounded by societal pressures and the stigma surrounding non-heteronormative relationships.
It's because I loved one thing in this world more than I did her, right? One thing. And do you know what that one thing was? Hating myself.
It also manifests in his reluctance to seek support. Donny's fear of judgment and rejection prevents him from seeking support and openly discussing his feelings. He isolates himself, dealing with his struggles in secrecy, which is a common behavior among those with internalized homophobia. The fear of being stigmatized or not taken seriously further entrenches his internal conflicts and feelings of isolation. Through these behaviors and emotional struggles, Baby Reindeer effectively portrays the complex and painful reality of living with internalized homophobia, showing the impact it has on Donny's relationships, his self-esteem, and his overall mental health. One of my favorite parts of the series was Donny's conversation with his parents when he comes out to them. Now, this represents a pivotal moment in the series.
I don't think I'm straight anymore. I think I'm probably, bisexual, maybe. It's a journey.
After enduring intense personal turmoil and grappling with his identity, Donny musters up the courage to confide in his parents about his past abuse and his sexuality. This moment is significant as it marks a turning point in his journey towards self-acceptance. By opening up to his parents, Donny not only confronts his internalized homophobia, but also seeks validation and support from his family, which is crucial for his healing process.
Between a bi son or a gay son, whatever I become, or a dead one, because I can't handle it anymore. Keeping it in.
And their acceptance and understanding provide him with a sense of relief and empowerment, helping him to move forward with a renewed sense of self-worth and authenticity. This was truly one of the most touching moments of the show to me. And I just want to add that 20% of sexual minority adults have attempted suicide, and this is in comparison to 4% of the general public. And this is why we have an entire month of celebrating Pride. I also want to add that a few weeks ago, Jessica Gunning herself talked about her coming out process and her own struggles with self-acceptance. So happy Pride Month to Jessica Gunning.
emotional thing actually in Baby Reindeer where Donny talks about sleeping for the first time at his parents' house, and I told my family in Christmas that year, and I like slept for like 10 hours that night. Yeah, because I kind of was like, oh, that's what this has been. It's been like a little secret, I guess, I've been keeping from myself even.
Thanks so much for watching. Please hit subscribe, leave a comment. I'll get back with you, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.